everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm in a very good mood today, as hopefully you can tell. My name is Kat. I am a psychic medium and I am also an artist, so you'll find a lot of different things that I am doing, especially on my Facebook page and especially on my Instagram. You can find me at Moonchild Dreams. You'll find the spelling of that down below. It's not spelled the way it sounds. So today we are going to be picking up where the last video left off. I am going to be continuing further information about tarot card symbolism, specifically concerning the minor arcana. We're going to be going more information onto elemental correspondences, what those things mean, and I am planning on making this a multi-part series that goes in depth into different things about the tarot, different symbolism, numerology, and some astrological correspondences that will be included into the tarot. I am going to be using the Gilded Tarot again today for my demonstration by Ciro Marchetti, but before we begin I wanted to go into a very brief history of tarot. Tarot was founded in the 13th to 15th century AD. In Europe is where it's believed to have begun. It was also believed to have been used originally as playing cards. That's why the minor arcana in specific are so similarly set up to like playing cards as well. You're going to find more information about their correspondences to playing cards in my last video. Don't forget to watch that and hit like on that video as well. So that is just a very brief summary of tarot, and they are believed to have begun to be used for divination by the late 16th century. Wonderful. So we're going to go ahead and focus on tarot symbolism today, again, specifically in the minor arcana. We will be going over the major arcana, and I actually want to do an in-depth video about each major arcana and what each of those cards mean, so we're going to compile that into a video as well, and I'm planning on making that my next video. And then following that, we're going to go into different layouts that you can do. There's a lot of different layouts, and some of them are very random and some of them are very structured, but this is just for aiding you and building your technique. I also wanted to let you know I am planning on doing guided meditations on this video, energy information on energy healing, information on different types of things, different kinds of questions. I am going to go into some more advanced subject matter like soul contracts and just kind of discussions, brief discussions on what all those things are, karma, how it works, etc, etc, etc. And I am planning on starting an oracle card video sometime in the future. But for now, we're going to be focusing specifically on tarot. So don't forget to hit like and subscribe. You can find that down below. And thank you so much for watching. On to the video. Hello again. Welcome back. I just wanted to go into real quick before we get into symbolism. I wanted to go into intention. Intention is roughly a prayer that we use prior to beginning our reading. It would follow along the lines of, I call upon my spirit guides, my angels, I call upon spirit and a higher power, and I call upon those that watch over me. Please bless and protect us both. I ask that these messages be received for the highest and utmost good for myself and for the individual that I'm reading. And I ask that all messages I receive be true and accurate. It's really important that we do something similar or along those lines. I do this prayer before every reading I do. The purposes of that is to get me in connection or to the flow of the channel of the energy that I am reading. So I have shuffled. You're going to see me reading my style. My style is particular to me. I, again, pull from the deck. If I did not mention that in my last video, I pull from the middle of my deck quite frequently, the Lovers. The reason why I do this is because it does randomize the information quite frequently. It does randomize the information very well. And I cannot be accused of quote-unquote cheating. Now, as you see here, I have no cups. I am going to be pulling some cups
randomly just for, I'm actually going to pull a cup just for the sake of this video. Here's 7 of Cups. Wonderful. So we're going to go ahead and pull the Lovers. Again, this is just an example reading. I'm going to pull the Lovers card out and put it in place of that, just for some clarity's sake. Now, going into the symbolism, if I was to just be doing this reading for kicks and giggles, I'd be looking at, again, all the symbolism. I'm seeing the boat. I'm seeing a man resting here, 4 of Swords. I'm seeing many different cups here. The bird, the jewels, fire, the earth. Again, rods, the fire. As we said in the last video, you're going to see a lot of the color correspondences to the elements. Now, rods or wands, Queen of Wands, again, represents fire. Fire is creation. Fire is manifestation, the creative, to create, the act of creating. A lot of people think when they think of creating, they think of creativity or artistry, and that's not always necessarily just the case. We can also be talking about manifestation here. And when you're looking at 3 of Wands, yes, even though it is wands, even though it is a fire element, you're seeing the boat moving in the background, a lot of water. That's got a lot of importance, and we will actually get to that in a second. Cups, again, with the water. Water represents emotion, the subconscious, intuition, etc., etc. Water in general and its correspondence does have to do with a feminine energy, whereas fire is a masculine energy. Swords being air, the mental, justice, thought, communication is air, whereas pentacles, or coins, as they're also known as, is an earth element. That is a feminine energy that represents, again, as I said in the last video, material, hearth, home, finances, and all things relating to our physical well-being. This is also wealth and abundance. Wealth in metaphysics is happiness, health, and financial. So going into the symbolism, as you see here, just as an example, this man has got the scales, balancing, weighing, and then there's these hands down here, receiving. This is giving. This is an act of giving, of generosity. This is an act of he has plenty. He has plenty to share with others. This is to give. This is a very beautiful card. I really do love some 6 of Pentacles or 6 of Coins as well. And going over to 3 of Wands. Anything with something like a vehicle represents a journey. So car, which is also true in dreams, actually. Dreaming of being in a vehicle, traveling. This can represent an actual trip. Journey through life, metaphorically speaking. It can represent the movement literally, or the movement metaphorically, but the most important thing is we are moving forward. The supporting cards surrounding it is really going to be what gives you the metaphorical or the literal interpretation. As I have Pentacles over here, it's safe to say this is a literal movement, journey, building, growing. This can represent also paying out for opportunity. Opportunity being all these different chalices. The water also represents our dreams, our visions. Queen of Wands, manifestation. So now you can kind of see how all this is tying together. Journey, opportunity, giving, paying, money. Queen of Wands, independent, pioneer, visionary, creative, outside of the box. 4 of Swords, resting, our thoughts, swords. This is just a very easy, luckily, example of the different ways that this all ties together. So when you're just giving the cards at a glance a look through or look see, and you're just getting quick messages, quick interpretation, it's easy to say that somebody is trying to further themselves. A woman is trying to further themselves, move forward financially through opportunity, making something happen. This can also represent they're moving for an opportunity and they'll have to pay out for this move. This is where psychic ability comes into play. This opportunity could be they're creating a new business. This opportunity could be that they are actually physically making a move for a job or for work. This can represent that they're having to pay out for that. But either which way, if they're making a business, they will have to pay out. If they're moving, they will have to pay out. So the core information stays static. It stays the same. Whatever it is they're doing, we're moving forward for an opportunity, and there will be money that has to be paid out. Now, again, acts of generosity, this card can cover, but this can also cover balancing our finances in such a way that we share into an opportunity that will have a return. And this card saying, think things carefully through, plan carefully. And with it being in, like I said before, the known influence, the crowning influence, this is something that's known to them. This is something that they understand they need to do. So it's saying they're thinking things very carefully through. So this is a very positive message. Now, if you were to pull in the Lover's card, and like I said, I wanted to focus on the minor arcana today as opposed to the major arcana, but this is a major arcana card, and just for the sake of it, just for information and for education purposes, the Lover's pretty self-explanatory. It represents, most of the time, a romantic relationship, but it can represent a union. It's usually a very close union. It's usually a very close relationship in and of itself. This can represent a very, very deep friendship, a loving family situation, but most of the time, guys, let's be honest, this does cover more of a romantic influence, but it can represent our loving relationships as a whole, or it can represent our loving relationships as an umbrella. So that's something important to know about the Lover's card. Cards are by nature transmutable in their interpretations, and they can represent a multitude of different situations at any given time. This is why it's so important to link our own psychic ability to the cards, because that's where you're really going to get your finite detail. You know, you can say there's a woman, you're the woman, because this is the subconscious influence, you're the woman, and you're moving forward in life, you're following some opportunities, you're following some dreams, you're making them a reality, because Seven of Cups does represent, again, dreams and visions. So we have to manifest them. This is another great example of intention. You intend to create something, but you are actually making progress on it, and this is the result. So as we said before, past, present, future, conscious, subconscious, this is the outcome. Looking really good, right, guys? But this is just a really great example of how those different things link together, and how just knowing the general information of, like, wands representing movement, creation, intention, manifestation, a lot of those abstract concepts can give us a lot of information. Fire is very moving. And if you think of the actual elements themselves, if you think of a flame moves back and forth. It can create, it can destroy, it dances, it's purifying. Water has depths. It can represent illusion. Sometimes we can see very clearly into the water, sometimes it's not so clear. If you think of a sword and the way it moves, swinging through the air back and forth, it can represent our mental dances. And if you think of earth, you think of the tree, rooted, grounded, unmoving. All of these have both positive aspects, and if you have to say negative aspects. Now, one of the things I did mention was masculine versus feminine. whereas fire, which is wands, and air, which is swords, are both masculine. Masculine energy is our dominant hand, the dominant side of our body. It is the go, the do. It is also will, mental thought processes, action, manifestation, etc., etc., etc. If you just look up masculine energy, which is also gold and correspondences, that's divine masculine, you will get a plethora of information. When masculine energy is too strong, that leads to our aggression, our assertiveness. Anger is a masculine expression. Blah, 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 blah. That's our yang energy as well for those that are interested. Whereas water and earth are our feminine influences. Water being cups, earth being pentacles. Water, again, is our dreams, our feelings, our... It's also considered gestation. Now, when you hear, and a lot of people kind of get funny about this, but when you hear fertility or gestation in a reading, it's, again, so metaphorical, and that's where a lot of people get a little tripped up on readings. Metaphorical and symbolic. Gestation is pregnant with the possibility of. That is the possibility of creating. You can create this, but you have to use your masculine yang energy, your go, to make it a reality. And fertility is opportunity, planting seeds. You can make this happen. So earth, planting seeds. So if you're looking at feminine energy, feminine is our more passive. That's our non-dominant hand. That's waiting, letting go, faith, innocence, humility, understanding, our love, nurture, emotion, psychic ability, intuition, and dreams. That's feminine energy. So understanding your general symbolism is so important, especially archetypal influences. A lot of people say, what are archetypal influences? I'll actually put down in the description below how that's spelled, archetypal influences or archetypal symbolism, because those are the same things that you'll find in psychotherapy, in dreams, and in dream interpretation is archetypal imagery. It's the understanding that we all see certain things a certain way. So, like, for example, a lot of people associate the color red with anger or passion, like a red rose. That's an archetypal image. A mother as nurturing, as loving, that's an archetypal image. A servant as this, etc., etc., etc. Archetypal imagery plays a big part in the tarot, and you can study for years and years and years on just archetypal imagery alone. And that'll give you a lot of symbolism. Like another archetypal imagery, for example, is this dove. This dove is a great example, and the plant growth we look at as plants or trees. Doves, a lot of us associate with peace and a higher power. Those are another great example of archetypal imagery. So that's just a quick lesson today on symbolism, archetypal imagery, etc., etc., etc. Going into swords a little bit stronger real quick. Like I said, it's the mental justice communication, and it also has association with movement because it is a masculine card. So pay attention to what you see going on around you in the cards just for additional information, and that'll give you a big heads up. Just kind of self-explanatory what these cards mean. Alright guys, if you have additional comments or questions, go ahead and comment down below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. I really enjoyed having you here again today for this quick lesson. And if you would like more information or more depth information about the cards, in their symbolisms and what they mean, go ahead and type down below your question, and I will get back to you, or I'll make a response video. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day, guys. Bye.